Hi guys, we're going to check the Chapter 7 Test Form 3. There's not a lot of room on here and some of these equations are a little more involved, so I'm going to do them on notebook paper, but I just wanted to make sure you guys had the right paper. First of all, I miss you. I miss seeing you. This is not how I want to go over things with you, but we will make the best of it. Okay, so we'll start with the equations up at the top. I'll give you the answer, and then I'll do the problem. That way, if you got the answer right and you don't want to watch me do it, you can fast forward to the next one. All right, so the first question was 5.7d equals 3.2d minus 8. Since there's a d on both sides, I subtracted 3.2d on both sides. Cancel those out. That gives me 2.5d is equal to negative 8. Make sure you brought down the negative 8. You're going to divide both sides by 2.5 and you get negative 3.2. And I forgot to give you the answer first, sorry. Number 2, the answer is negative 10. So if you want to watch me do this one with the fractions, you can. If you got negative 10 and you didn't have any problems, you can skip it. So I'm going to take away 2/5 x because it's smaller, and then I won't end up with a negative. Luckily, they are common denominators, so 3/5 minus 2/5 is 1/5 x minus 4 equals negative 6. We now have a two-step where we will add 4 to both sides. So I have 1/5 x equals negative 2. Remember, when you want a fraction to equal 1, you got to multiply it by its reciprocal. That cancels that out. Well, if I times one side by 5 over 1, that's the same as 5. I'm going to times the other side by 5, and that's where I get my negative 10. Number 3, this was a tough one. This one was a minus 7 over 10 equals a minus 2 over 8. Now you're going to see a lot of this in algebra next year with more fractions where you have to cancel the bottom number out so that you're not dealing with a denominator anymore. This answer is negative 18, but if you want to watch to see how I get rid of the 8 and the 10 on the bottom, I would do that. Okay, so to get rid of the 8 and 10, you really need to find a common multiple for the two of them. I think the least common multiple for them would be 40. And if you timesed both sides by 40, what ends up happening is this is 1 and this is 4 on the top. So now this is 4 parentheses a minus 7 because you're timesing it. Over here, the 8 would cancel out, and this would give you 5. So now I have a minus 2 in parentheses 5, because it's 5 times that whole amount when you're multiplying that. So all I wanted to do is be able to cancel the bottoms out so I no longer have a denominator. So find a common multiple for those. And then when you cancel them out, you write what's left. But that number there is being multiplied by everything on top, so you have to put the parentheses. Then you can go ahead and distribute. So now I have 4a minus 28, and make sure you go this way and keep this in the same order. 5a minus 10. All right, then I'm going to minus 4a on both sides. I'll get negative 28 is equal to a minus 10. I will add 10 to both sides because it's only one more step. There's my negative 18 equals a. Number 4. Also a fun one with the parentheses. Or, I'm sorry, with the fraction and the distributive. Negative 24b plus 108. Squeeze it in there. Okay. Answer for number 4 is all numbers. So when I distribute we'll be able to see that the two sides are equal. So this gives me negative 8b. This is the same as plus a negative, so that's positive 36. This one here, this times this, 1/3 times negative 24, that also is negative 8b. And 1/3 times 108, if you have 108 over 3 and you divide that on your calculator, you get 36. As soon as you have the two sides identical, that's in all numbers. Number 5 had a denominator that I want to get rid of also. Number 5's answer is negative 1.5. But if you want to see me get rid of the bottom number so that you don't have a denominator over there, you can. I don't want to have to subtract over here first, so what I'm going to end up doing is timesing by 0.6 first. So if I do that, remember you're timesing everything by 0.6 on the other side, just like when we were dividing everything in this chapter, putting it in the slope-intercept form. Everything has to be times by it, so that means I'd put parentheses around it, and I would do my distributive property. So all that's left on this side is a. When I distribute 3a times 0.6, I get 1.8a. 0.6 times 2 is 1.2. I'm going to then subtract the 1.8a. That gives me a negative 0.8a on the left. That cancels out, and 1.2 on the right. I'm going to divide both sides by negative 0.8, and I get negative 1.5. Number 6, 2/3 d plus 4 equals 1/3 parentheses 2d plus 7. Okay, distribute first. The answer for this one is no solution. So on this side I have 2/3 d plus 4. On this side I get 2/3 when I multiply 2 times 1/3, 2/3 d, and this will give me 7/3. Well, if you look here, those are identical, those are not, so this one is no solution. Okay, so there's your equations. Definitely tougher than ones we've done, but doable. Okay, so we're going on to the equation. This is kind of a tough equation. Number 7, I can come up with an equation. Number 8, kind of hard to come up with an equation until the end. Otherwise, it ends up really long, and I'm assuming not many people would have done that anyway. But number 7 says Deception Island in Antarctica and Kilo, I don't know, in Hawaii are two volcanoes that erupted in the 20th century. The height of Deception Island, so I'm going to say Deception Island is D. Height of Deception Island is 2,119 feet shorter than the height of Kilo. So it's Kilo minus, I'm probably saying that completely wrong. This is Deception Island, right? The height of Kilo, K, is equal to 229 feet more than 2 times Deception Island. So it's 229 more than is a plus 2 times Deception Island. Okay, and then it continues to go on to find K. I want to find K. So I want to know what K is equal to. All right, well, I can't find K if I have a D. But can I replace D with what's up above? I can. And there's a K in there. So now I have all the same variable. So now I have 229 plus 2. Instead of D, I'm putting what D is equal to. The K minus 2119. So I will distribute. K is equal to 229 plus 2K minus 4,238 when you distribute that. I'm going to put these two together. So K is equal to When I add those two together, I end up with a negative, because this is b plus negative. So I got 2k plus negative 4,009. I'm then going to subtract a negative or minus a 2k. That gives me a negative k is negative 4,009. Remember, this is like a negative 1k, and we're going to get to the point, hopefully, by next year that you won't have to show that you're dividing both sides by negative 1. If you see a negative in front of the variable like that, you just need to know that negative 1 would do what? It would reverse both signs. So this is how many feet that volcano is. Number 8. So I had a roll of wallpaper that covers 70 square feet. All right, so the wallpaper is 70 square feet of coverage. You have a rectangular room that measures 10 feet long by 12 feet long, 8 feet high. So you have 4 walls, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all 8 feet high. And because it's a rectangle, 2 of them would be 12 and 2 of them would be 10. And then it says that it has 2 windows and 2 doors. 2 windows and 2 doors, and it doesn't really matter where they are. And that you'll subtract 15 square feet for each window and door. So each window and door, you're going to minus 15 square feet. So 15 times 4 is 60 feet squared that you're going to subtract out of there, okay, for the windows and doors. So first I have to figure out the area for each one if I'm going to cover them. So I have 2 of them that are 8 by 12. I have 2 of them that are 8 by 10. And then I have to minus, if you want to show, the 4 doors and windows. And that's going to give me 70 times the number of wallpaper I need. So I solve everything over on the other side. It's a really long equation. I type all of that into the calculator, or one part at a time if you don't have one that does order of operations, and you will get 292. You then divide both sides by 70, and it comes out to 4.2 something, but because it's rolls of paper, if you only have 4, you won't have enough, so you need to have 5. Okay? I'm going to come over here for this one. We're writing an inequality for the graph shown. Always put my x first, and then if I've got the filled in circle, I have the or equal to. It's going this way to the left, so I can use the arrow trick if I want, or the less than, because this shows that it's less than, and then whatever the number is, 30. Graph this one over here, n is greater than or equal to negative 12. So I'm going to put a negative 12 somewhere on there. Then you'd have a negative 13 and negative 11. Because it has the or equal to, make sure you fill in the circle, and n is bigger than, so it has to go this way. We skipped 11 and 12 and 14 or 13 because those are sections that we have not done. Number 14, oh, here's one, the sum of an integer and the next greater integer, find the lesser. The answer to that one is 13. Do you remember doing these before? We said if we have the sum of an integer and the next greater, whatever the integer is, the next one would be 1 more than it. So here's the integer, here's the next greater integer. And it is at least. At least means it could be that much or more than 27. Over here we have to add these two together to combine our like terms. We will then minus 1 on both sides and get 26. We will divide both sides by 2 and that's where I get my 13. So the lesser one is 13. Number 15, you were to solve the inequality. It's just a one-step equality, no rules for that. You add 21 to both sides. So I got 40, 1 is greater than x. There's no switching signs whenever it's adding or subtracting. That's just for our multiplication and our division. Okay. All right. Let's go on to number 16. Colin wants to spend no more than $12.50 on his trip. The airfare is $4.39. How much can Colin spend on other things? You would have x is less than or equal to 811. Here's how we would do it. He wants to spend no more than, this is 16, $12.50. And it says that the airfare is $4.39. So the other things must be x. So I have $4.39 is what he already spent, plus x is what else he wants to figure out what to spend. And it says he wants to spend no more than, so he can spend that much or less. Then when I go to solve this, I minus $4.39, and I get x is less than or equal to $811. Number 17, I have negative 5/6 is less than r minus 2/3. There's our fun fractions. So we are going to have common denominators. So I'm going to make that a 6, and that's going to be a 4. So now I have negative 5 plus 4, which is negative 1, and that is less than r. Number 18, s is divided by 3 is greater than or equal to 7.1. Number 18 should be s is greater than or equal to 21.3. How do I do that? I times 3 on both sides. You don't have to reverse this one because you are not dividing by a negative. Number 19, you have negative 4.5 less than or equal to negative 67.5. This one comes out to t is greater than or equal to 15 because you're dividing by a negative 4.5. You must reverse the sign on that one. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Number 20, 0 is less than or equal to negative 16x. Yes, x, yes, you can have a 0. We're going to divide both sides by negative 16, and because you did that, 0 on top is okay. You have to reverse the sign, so x is less than or equal to that 0. So if you reverse the letters on the other side, that's okay, but the sign has to reverse with it whenever you do that. 21 is negative 1/4 k. Lots of fractions in here, and you're going to see a lot of fractions next year in algebra, so that's why I decided to have you do this. 21, the answer is k is less than negative 72 because when you want to get rid of this fraction, you have to multiply it by its reciprocal, so you're multiplying by a negative 4, and because it's negative, you have to reverse the sign. And then when you multiply 18 and negative 4, you get negative 72. Number 22, you've got 2/3 x plus 7 is greater than 15. It is, x is greater than 12 for the answer. Bring down the 2/3 x. These cancel out. You get 8 here. Again, to make a fraction equal 1, you have to multiply it by its reciprocal. When you multiply this by its reciprocal, you can put a 1 under it if you want to do that. This will cancel, so 4 times 3 is 12. You don't have to reverse any signs for that one. Number 23 is 23 plus w divided by negative 2 less than or equal to 71. You're going to minus 23 on both sides. So you got w divided by negative 2 is less than or equal to 48. Oh, I forgot to tell you this one is w greater than or equal to negative 96 because we times by a negative, so we have to reverse it to the greater than, and then different signs is a negative answer. Number 24, that's kind of a long one, and it has the denominators that you're going to want to get rid of. You can reduce this to a 1 and a 4 first because this is being multiplied on the outside. So I could turn this into a 1 and I could turn this into a 4. Then when I go to figure out my common multiple, I'm going to pick 20. So I'm going to times by 20 and 20. So that cancels out and is 5. So I got 5 times y plus 1. This cancels out, I get 4. So this is 4 times y, 4 plus y, or y plus 4. Doesn't matter what order. I mixed it up, sorry. We will distribute. So we got 5y plus 5 is less than or equal to 16 plus 4y. I'm going to minus 4y on both sides. I get y plus 5 is less than or equal to 16. This one's pretty easy once I get rid of those bottom numbers up here, those denominators. I'm going to minus 5 on both sides. Y is less than or equal to 11. And then we skipped 25 and the bonus. So that's it. Hope you did all right. If you have any questions, email me, or if you feel like you need a face-to-face, just email me and let me know, and we can do a Google Hangout or a Google Meet or a Zoom or one of those things.